Now, over the weekend, Chantel Boeren was officially crowned Miss Teen Namibia 2025. Now, she also received that is a Photogenic Award, highlighting a natural presence and personality on camera. Chantel now takes on the role of inspiring and representing teenagers across the country with a focus on youth empowerment, confidence, and community involvement. She now joins us this morning all the way from Ngwediva to share how she is feeling and what she hopes to achieve during her reign. Welcome to Good Morning Namibia, and thank you so much for making time to speak to us this morning, Chantel.
Good morning. Thank you so much for having me.
First of all, congratulations once again. To start off, can you tell us a bit about yourself? Where are you from, and how does it feel to represent your hometown as Miss Teen Namibia 2025?
Yes, definitely. So my name is Chantel Boeren. I'm 16. I currently am a grade 10 scholar at St. George's Diocesan School. And I was born and raised in Windhoek. And truly just representing Windhoek and the capital city of Namibia was really fun overall, but I'm more excited to represent now my whole country, my whole nation, and I'm just ready to embark on this journey.
Okay. Now, when your name was announced as Miss Teen Namibia 2025, what was going through your mind at this moment?
All I could think about praising the Lord, because when you're so passionate about something, you really put in a lot of energy, a lot of hard work, and a lot of effort and time. And just knowing in that moment that it was all worth it was really amazing. I just had to thank my Lord for bringing me this far. And for me to continue my journey was really a blessing. And yeah, that's really just went through my mind.
Okay. Now, you also won Miss Photogenic. You also won the Photogenic Award. What does this mean to you, especially during your reign?
It really has such value to me because when I have a camera in front of me, I'm quite free. I love posing, I love moving my body. And the fact that the photographers saw that in me and they saw my energy, it really means a lot to me. And I just can't continue to work with them because we have built such an environment where it's positive, all laughter, all smiles. And just to get back into that environment is really fun, and I can't wait, and I value that time so much.
Now, preparing that is for a pageant as of this nature that we saw over the weekend, I'm sure with school and other responsibilities, must be challenging on someone that is only 16 years old. What's your secret? How do you manage to ensure that you stay calm during all these many things that are happening in your life?
Honestly, when it came to schoolwork, my school has been a big support to me. They have been very understanding in terms of when I had to go to practice or when I had to go to events. They would really just be understanding and like willing to help me in case I did fall back. And that just really gave me more strength to continue this journey. And obviously, when I entered, I kind of was going with the flow at the beginning, but I later realized that that's not how it's supposed to be. And I decided to start a schedule and plan my days. And that really helped me focus on different areas at different times in my life and keep up with what I needed to keep up with.
Okay. Now, seeing that you are now Miss Teen for the year 2025, looking at what are some of the projects that you hope, that you are passionate about and hoping to focus during your reign as the Teen Queen?
Yes, so with this title, I truly believe that I can create a platform where we really amplify each young Namibian's voice through creative outlets, so through drawing, through painting. I know what it feels like to not feel strong and know how to express yourself with your voice. So I believe that with these different forms of expressions, I can really create awareness within society about what we are going through as the youth and what our elders can do to help us. And I believe that this title really can amplify those voices. I really want to create a change and impact my country in a positive way and in a way that I do it with respect, humility, kindness, and gentleness. And I just think that I really can't wait to go back to Windhoek and already start working with different organizations and hopefully creating a team with a psychiatrist, a social worker, and a general health practitioner, just to truly help the children and advise them in times where I have sessions with them and past trauma is brought up.
Okay. Now, looking back from your first audition to today, what have you learned over from this time that has passed from your audition, and then has something about you changed along this journey? Is there something that you would have done different, seeing now that you have won the crown?
I would say something I learned about myself from my first audition to now is how powerful my voice is. And I think I really just want to show that to my other young Namibians that your voice is truly powerful and don't be afraid to use it. Don't be scared for people to belittle you and for people to have different opinions on you, because at the end of the day, they aren't really contributing to your life and they aren't going to get you to success. You are going to get yourself to success. So use your voice, use the power of it in a humble and a strong way. And I honestly wouldn't change anything within my journey, because I believe that me staying true to myself helped me get this far, and it really helped me gain bonds of sisterhood and just express myself to my young Namibian citizens.
Okay. Now, what message or advice would you like to share with young girls across Namibia who have now started looking up to you, seeing that you are now Miss Teen for the year 2025?
Yes, so personally, I look up to a role model. Her name is Malala Yousafzai. She's a Pakistan who is a Taliban survivor. And I just want to empower them and encourage them to fight for what they believe in, because that is what she did. She currently is fighting for the right to girls' education in countries where it's really not allowed or not accessible. And there are two quotes that I stand by and that I want my young Namibians to stand by too. The first one being, even when the whole world is silent, one voice is powerful. And the second one being, I raise my voice not so that I can shout, but so that those without a voice can be heard. And I just want my young Namibians to know that firstly, I am that voice for you guys. I am here to represent you guys. And I'm here to just be a friend and someone that you can confide in and where you feel like you can trust them. And secondly, I just want them to know that your voice is really powerful, no matter your age, your gender, your ethnicity, whatever you say and whatever you believe in, stick with it and fight for it.
Well, Chantel Boeren, thank you so much for making time to speak to us this morning. And once again, congratulations from us here from the NBC, and we wish you all the best during your reign.
Thank you so much for having me.
Okay. Now, that was Chantel Boeren, who is Miss Teen Namibia 2025, talking to us about the journey, her experience, and also the feeling after being crowned as Miss Teen Namibia 2025. Now, this time around, we're shifting focus, moving from the capital and moving away from the Oshana region and heading all the way to Keetmanshoop, where Natangwe Jimmy is on standby. Natangwe Jimmy, good morning. It's over to you and the team in Keetmanshoop.
Good morning, and thank you so much for joining us on Good Morning Namibia. Of course, we are bringing you these interviews and live here from Keetmanshoop, where the governor of the Karas region, Honorable David Gertse, is set to deliver his State of the Region address. My name is Natangwe Jimmy. Of course, here today I'm joined by community activists here, Rico Blow, just to get some insights from him with regard to what are some of his expectations with regard to the governor's State of the Region address today. Thank you so much, Enrico, for joining us on NBC TV.
Good morning, Natangwe. Good morning, viewers. It's a pleasure to be here.
Great. Obviously, just share with us, what are some of the important aspects that you would want to expect, from the governor's State of the Region address today?
Natangwe, it did not come at a greater time than this, where our region, where we only hear about the new developments that is coming to the region, and for the layman on the ground, we don't know how far these projects is, what are the achievements so far, what have been achieved, where are we, which is the actual kick-off date. Most of the people out there just want to know the actual kick-off, when these projects will start getting off the ground.
Obviously, you would know that the governor has recently been appointed by our president Netumbo Nandi Ndaitwa. Of course, he's still new here as the governor of the Karas region. It's been less than 2 weeks since they have been appointed. But specifically, in terms of what are some of the specific aspects where you would want to see, especially because you are a community activist, you've got your ears and your feet on the ground. What would you want to see exactly that he would address, on his State of the Region address today?
Natangwe, I would not say new, because as a politician, you could be assigned to any job anytime, so you better be ready. So I would not say new for that sense, but yes, recently appointed Honorable David Gertse. What I would want to see from my personal point of view is how ready our inhabitants can be for the developments that are coming. We have one institute, NUMT. We have the vocational training center that are here. What I would love to see is if we can bring another agricultural kind of college like the new dam to the south. Natangwe, us from here in the south, we have that farming background. So if we can harness that potential from our locals around here, I think there's where we can. You can see the uptake is very low from the southerners in these vocational training centers. But I think the change will be if you bring these agricultural kind of schools to the south, where we can relate to. Most of us growing up on the farms and have a special interest in farming. I think that would do for me. That is something I want to see in the near future.
Enrico, obviously you've also been involved with some of the talks with regard to the new industries like oil and gas and green hydrogen. You said that the emphasis should be more on agriculture, but how can young people also take advantage of these new industries like the oil and gas and the subsequent development of green hydrogen?
Natanga, when it comes to these new developments, what is actually paining me currently is when you see there's an oil and gas symposium and you just read on the news and you see it's being held in Walvis Bay. I mean, this is what the previous president, may his soul rest in peace, brought these developments for, to bring change to the whole of Namibia, prosperity. Now these developments is taking place and you read on the news that it's going to take in Walvis Bay. The symposium is going to be in Walvis Bay. It's kind of paining. When these developments kick off, it's earmarked for it's coming from Ludrats. You want to see Keetmans who are being involved. You want to see Karasburg being involved. You want to see Ludrats being involved or Ranjamun. I think that's the main reason these industries were unlocked, is to bring prosperity also to the south of the country. So I would really want to see a lot of things happening around this industry taking place in the south.
We've recently heard the announcement, especially from the president's office, to encourage more and more the young people, especially from the southern regions, to get some of these scholarships with regard to these new industries. How can young people then make sure that that they position themselves to take advantage of this the call, to apply for the scholarships to be part of these new industries?
It's a very good question, Natangwe, and I'm glad you touched on it. This recent news that was shared, and it only said it targeted specifically children from the South, Hartap and Karas region. It brought about some disdain to most of the youth in the country, but I think it was necessitated by the fact that it's the third call now. In the first call and the second call, out of both those calls, I think in one call is more than 90 youth that is taken up in that program. Out of that 90, there was only one representative from these two regions combined. So I think that's what necessitated the higher officers to focus this time around on the third call, to also involve the youth from these two regions. So it was not done deliberately. It was not done to sideline anybody, and the call is clear. It is not said it will be chosen among tribal lands. It was said from Hartap and Kara. So whichever tribe you're coming from, whichever community you're coming from, as long as you are from these two regions, we want to also absorb from those two regions. So I thank the higher officers for that invitation that they sent out, and to also involve the kids from this area. It is quite something good, and it's what we want to see. We want prosperity for the whole Namibian house.
Enrico, obviously as a youth activist and a community activist also, you've got your ears and your feet on the ground. We've seen, that there's, especially institutions of higher learning, we've seen that the establishment of UNAM Southern Campus. We've also seen the development of NIMT, and we've seen that, that most recently also the construction of the vocational training center here in Keetmanshoop. How can then young people be encouraged, to take part in these the institutions of higher learning, for them also to position themselves in these new industries?
Natangwe, it's also another good question from you again. Whenever these centers are coming here, I think people should do a little bit of in-depth research, because if you see the uptake from the Southerners, there are not many of them take those courses that are there. So I would advise that we do a sort of research where the love for certain subjects lies, and then you tailor-made these subjects at these institutions to accommodate people from this area. People from different diverse backgrounds. Yes. They take part, or they relate to different type of things. So yeah. It's very welcoming, and it's something very good. We have UNAM, as you mentioned here. We have a NAS satellite campus here in Keetmanshoop, one in Ludrats as well. We have the NIMT, we have it here. We also have the newly established vocational training center, and that one we can't wait for it to kick off, to start having its first intake of learners. That one is really good development that the government is bringing to the South, and we are really thankful for all of that.
Agriculture has been the backbone of most Southerners for a number of years. Do you feel that that the new industries like the discovery of oil and gas and the subsequent development of green hydrogen somehow undermines or underscores agriculture, especially as we are moving towards Namibia being a food sufficient country in terms of making sure that they are able to develop and to produce food for consumption for our people?
Natangwe, there's no way in this world that agriculture can be taken away from any industry. Any industry in whichsoever that comes, you will need food. You will need these workers that are working, they will need food. So that is where agriculture automatically comes in. So I think these two should just work side by side. With these new industries being introduced to our region, I think we should also take a look at especially agriculture. We have so much potential that can be harnessed in this region. I mean, this is the region that is really that can really be food sufficient, or can produce food for our country. Keetmanshoop, a town which is sitting on massive amount of underground water, I don't see this water being harnessed for good use, and I think we should focus our attention also to the agricultural side.
Would you say that I know that earlier we spoke about the institutions of higher learning. Do you feel that that there are subjects or the courses also speak to the need of encouraging more and more of our young people to take part in agriculture and to learn some of the skills and competencies, to harness some of these reserves that we've got there, and ensure that that we're able to develop our agricultural industry, especially in the southern parts of Namibia?
Yes, Natango, I will reiterate again, and I will put more emphasis on it that we really need more agricultural related subjects when you come to the south of Namibia, because karakul farming, dorper farming, these farmings, it all, I think our people just need the expertise on how to really sell this potential that we are having, or to be skilled in what we grew up knowing with. So if we bring these subjects to this side of the country, I think it would be really a good addition for us.
With a population of just under 100,000 inhabitants here in the Karas region, we obviously have a youthful population of more than 65%, especially in the Karas region. Do you feel, you know, that some of the developments that are happening here are speaking to the demographic of young people?
Yes, Natangwe, you can say it again, one, if not the biggest region, but with a very low population of people. We sit with, where you drive from one town to another town, you find 100 kilometers, no uninhabitable. There's open land. There's so much potential that can be harnessed. If industries can be brought this side, I think we have the land, we have the water, we have the resources. The youth is out there. They just need the tailor-made products for them to be absorbed into the labor market, I think.
Obviously, you also touched a little bit on the open spaces also. We've also seen, you know, that the previous administration was key, especially to make sure that we also start to harness, you know, our natural resources, like, you know, like solar and wind also. We've seen that, you know, that in the towns such as Rospina, you know, that there's been a solar plant also been set up. We've seen that out on the outskirts of Keetmanshoop also. We've seen that solar has been opened up. We've also seen that the harnessing of wind energy has also been starting to be developed in Luderitz also. How can young people also take take advantage of some of these new energy resources that we've got there?
And the fact that we possess these open areas of land is also a very conducive environment to harness these natural resources, like you said, the wind, the sun we have. It's one of the places in the world where you have more days where you can have the sunshine, the wind blowing, and we can just harness these natural resources. And that is also one of the reasons why these industries is now coming. We are having the project such as the green hydrogen. It's just because our land is suitable for it. We have vast open space of land that can still offer more. We still have lots of land that can offer more for our country and the prosperity of this nation.
Especially because currently now we depend almost about 60% of our energy. We still currently depend on South Africa, and you know, if we are energy sufficient, we are able also to sell some of the surplus energies that we are developing here in our country to other southern development countries here also. So that's also maybe an untapped industry where we can also maybe encourage young people also to take advantage of.
And I see that is where our late president, may his soul rest in peace, also saw the potential, and that's why the introduction of these projects are here. The potential to have our own energy sources and to stop being reliant on our neighboring countries, South Africa. I mean, we are being independent from 1990 from South Africa, and we still rely a lot of from South Africa, not only on the energy. If you look at the agricultural side, such a huge potential that lies there from the agricultural side, which we can there's so much that we can do. If you see, and I'm going to touch on it just last month on Donga Traditional Authority, and that is what I want traditional authorities to do.
Wow, great.
That is what I want.
Enrico, as we finally wrap up, you know, we know that the governor of the Great Karas region will be delivering his State of the Region address. As we wrap up, you know, what are some of the things that you'd want to see exactly that he would touch on when he's going to address the region in a few hours' time?
I hope the technocrats will feed him with the right information. I see he's having a very good working relationship with the councillors, and that can only mean prosperity for us in the South. If they are working together, if all the officers is working together and functioning as one, then I think we can really achieve a lot. What I would want to see is more emphasis being put on agricultural sector, really, because we can really tap a lot more from it.
Thank you. Well, thank you so much, Enrico. It was nice speaking to you.
Nice thinking to you, Natango. It was a pleasure.
Right. Well, that was Enrico Blau, a community activist here in Keetmanshoop in the Greater Karas region, just speaking to us about some of his expectations with regard to what he would want to see the Karas Governor David Gerse, just speaking to us on his State of the Region address. From us here in Keetmanshoop, it's back to you in studio.
Thank you so much, Natangwe, Jimmy there, and the team there in Keetmanshoop. We do know that David Gerse, the newly appointed governor of the Karas region, is due to deliver his maiden State of the Region address. So we'll definitely be bringing you live that discussion to see the latest happenings at what has happened in the Karas region between the 1st of April 2024 to the 31st of March 2025, and also what we can anticipate to see in the region and the activities that have taken place from the 1st of April until next year, March 31st, 2026. So stay tuned on our NBC various platforms as we bring you that story. Now, for more than 30 years, Michelle McLean has used a global platform to elevate Namibia's voice in the world, not just through beauty and representation, but through purpose-driven advocacy and impactful philanthropy. Now, from founding the Michelle McLean Children's Trust to mentoring youth and spearheading educational effort, her legacy continues to inspire generation. Now, as a newly appointed North America representative and business officer for Gondwana Collection Namibia, she is helping to position Namibia as a leader in sustainable travel, investment, and community development. In this conversation, we will explore Michelle's vision for the country's future, her long-lasting commitment to education and empowerment, and her reflections on the newly crowned Miss Namibia, Joanna Swartboy, all the way from Valkras. Good morning, Michelle, and thank you so much for making time to speak to us this morning.
Good morning. It's great to be back in Namibia.
Okay. Now, Michelle, you have represented Namibia globally over the last 3 decades. With your new role for Gondwana and supporting their efforts in North America, how do you see this ambassadorial work evolving in your next chapter of your life?
Well, very exciting indeed. As being, a global ambassador for many years, I now have the opportunity to really go in depth to the American community and showcase Namibia. So through Gondwana Collection and their beautiful properties, and I get to travel around the country, which is fantastic, and working with them with the Gondwana Cares Trust in conjunction with the Michelle McLean Children's Trust. It really is one of my passions, obviously, to not only do philanthropy work and give opportunities to children in education, but to promote the country. And through Gondwana Collection, I'm able to do that, and working very closely with our government and with NTB, we are promoting Namibia. We are showcasing Namibia to the world. So North America is a very exciting market, and we're hoping to capture that and bring more North Americans to Namibia, and not only for tourism, but also for investment.
Okay. Now, the Michelle McLean Children's Trust has supported education and care of underprivileged children for over 30 years. What do you believe is the most urgent educational need in Namibia today, and how are you working and assisting government by meeting them halfway to help reach those targets?
Well, I think most importantly, I have to say congratulations to Her Excellency for all the wonderful strides that she's made already in her administration, and for the wonderful appointments of all the women ministers that I so dearly work with: a Minister of Education, Minister of Health, Minister of Tourism, and Minister of Agriculture. And we spoke earlier about agriculture and how important that is for our country. But I think, looking at what is important right now is upskilling and creating employment for our youth, and empowering women in business, so we can do that through tourism, and certainly upskilling young people in tourism, because this is the showcase of Namibia for the world. Tourism and service and good service is very important for our country. Whether you enter the country, through the passport control, or whether you are traveling the country, that is so important. So I think, the education of children comes first, obviously, and then giving them an opportunity for employment. But I think the tourism industry has always been, and it promises to be, one of the greatest employment opportunities for young people in the country.
Now, talking about tourism, we know that your work has constantly linked tourism with social responsibility. How can then perhaps Namibia's tourism and hospitality sector be better integrated with youth development, skills training, especially for rural communities, and, you know, the concept of ensuring that tourism benefit the inhabitants who are living in those specific areas?
Well, I'm very proud to say now, as a representative and a business officer for Gondwana Collection, for many, many years, they have already instilled great training opportunities for young people around the country. And the philanthropy side of their work, and making sure they work closely with communities, is very important. I think that they are a showcase for what other companies can do in Namibia in terms of tourism and helping work, you know, the human-animal conflict issues. I mean, there's so many different aspects to tourism, but in terms of the hospitality side, I think Namibia is really on top. We have one of the most beautiful countries in the world. Infrastructure is amazing. Tourism, you know, when tourists come here, it's almost like a first world country. They have all the facilities and all the opportunities available to them, and a safe country to travel in. So we can be very, very proud. And that's what we need to focus on, you know, but give the youth a hope in terms of their future employment opportunities. Conservation is so very important to our country. And I'm always very proud to say, especially to the Americans, Namibia is one of the only countries in the world that has conservation in their constitution. So we can really promote that. And the fact that we have a safe and beautiful country.
Indeed, environmental protection remains key in terms of our constitutional obligations. Now, you were just 19 when you became Miss Universe, a powerful platform that you have used to champion children and education rights ever since. Now that Johanna Swartbo has been crowned Miss Namibia 2025, what guidance would you offer to her as she begins this life-changing journey?
Well, I would like to say a huge congratulations to Joanna as Miss Namibia 2025, and of course to Chantel, our Miss Teen. You know, when I was 19, it was one of those moments where you think, okay, where do you go to from here? Then I founded the Michelle McLean Children Trust. It's my passion, look after children,
Thank you so
and
much.
to, you know, ensure that we have education for children in the country, and many other projects. But my wish and congratulations to both our title holders and to all our title holders is that when I won, people thought it was just a beauty pageant, it was flippant, it was, you know, surface, just beauty. But I was able to continue, as you say, it's now 3 decades, oh my goodness, be able to do global ambassador work for Namibia. So we really need to rally behind our wonderful representatives, our Miss Namibia and our Miss Teen, and all the other representatives, because they are our ambassadors that go out into the world. They are the voice pieces for Namibia, and they do incredible work. I mean, Joanna's got, you know, had incredible projects. She's had a wonderful, you know, career of being a model, and she already knows how to be an ambassador. So we all need to rally behind these young ambassadors that go out into the world. The beauty pageants are not just a superficial platform. This is an opportunity to promote Namibia in the best way possible.
Indeed. Now, you have hosted global forums, addressed international audiences, and worked across various continents. What key messages about Namibia do you still feel isn't being heard widely enough, especially perhaps in the education or the youth developmental sector?
Well, I think, you know, that's a two-pronged question, because when I do my promotion of Namibia, I sell the country for tourism opportunities, but also for investment opportunities. When we create the environment where people understand that Namibia is not a backward African country, we are very progressive, we are open for investment, and I love it when, you know, Her Excellency talks about that, because we have the right environment for that. I heard earlier a speaker talk about, you know, our green hydrogen and renewable energy possibilities, and then we have oil and gas opportunities. But that's going to be part of our legacy. We need to make sure that we have employment opportunities for young people, create hope for them in agriculture as well. That's very, very important. Food security is incredibly important. I mean, I've been focusing on education for many years, but it's exciting to see that Her Excellency and our new administration is really looking at the promotion of Namibia as a real safe and vibrant space to invest. And we have the most beautiful people, the most beautiful countryside, so we have nothing to lose, only to gain, and we need to get out there and promote our country.
Now, looking ahead, what is your long-term vision for Namibia, not just in terms of opportunities, but how we view Namibia and its role as in global citizens, how we view them as innovators, and how we view Namibia possibly as a country to produce the future leaders for the next generation of leaders to come?
Well, that's a very, very big question indeed, but I don't think it's insurmountable. We have, as I said, the environment to create so many more opportunities in our country for investment. We look at technology, we look at education opportunities, the tourism flourishing, and obviously food security through agriculture. We have the most amazing meat export that we should be harnessing, and we should be really working on promoting that, because we have the best meat in the world. Hormone-free, free range, there's no meat in the world can touch ours. So, there are so many different industries that are open to young people and creating employment opportunities. We just need to be able to be vocal and, promote Namibia around the world. So it's all about each and every one of us being an ambassador, whether you are a high-profile person or a person working in a small business, an entrepreneur. You need to promote Namibia in the best way possible, because that's going to grow our country.
Well, Michelle McLean, thank you so much for making time to speak to us on this Tuesday morning.
It's always a pleasure.